Hello and welcome to the next video of our TIA Portal introduction series. Just a short wrap up what we did so far. We added the hardware configuration. We linked sensors and actuators with the hardware using a tag table. And we have written a simple small program into our main function, the OB1, organizational block 1. That tells the PLC how to behave, right? This is the behavior. This is our program. This is the main part, basically. Everything we do is, where did it go? There it is looking at this little system that we have. Very simple. We have those green pieces here. We put them on the start of a conveyor belt. B1 detects them. It's a sensor. Then we hit S1, which is a push button, and the conveyor starts. The piece gets transported. B2 detects the component. Then the stopper here should open. The conveyor belt is on the whole time, so the piece will still go. Afterwards, the stopper will close. And we're going to B3, where the piece is detected and the conveyor belt turns off, and we can take the piece off the belt. And the process is done. So a very simple, basic process as a first example here for an entry level. So we have written the small program for it. If there is a piece detected and the push button is pressed, we're turning on K1. We're setting it, turning on. If there is... this is strange here. We will get to it in a moment. B3 is always sending a high signal if there is no component. If there's no component, this sends a 1, meaning this will open, meaning we won't reset. If there's a piece at B3, it will be 0. This will close, and the reset will activate. And that's how it works. With B2 here, B2 will directly activate 1-on-1, which is the stopper. This is called a direct assignment. What we want to do this time, so this is what we've done so far. If you need any review of this, just check any of the older videos. Or put a question in the comments below. Now we want to simulate this. I can explain as much as I want, but simulation is always the best to actually see what's going on. For simulating this, we want to simulate here on the left side. We need to select what do we want to simulate. Only the variables, the symbols we've created so far, only the program, only the hardware. We want to simulate everything. And it's a simulation. It's not an emulation. It's just really simulating the behavior. It's not really the hardware. So I want to select the brain here, the highest level, right? I want to simulate everything we've done so far with this PLC. And then we need to click on top here. There is a Start Simulation button. I don't know if I can right-click, actually. I can also right-click and click Start Simulation, or Control-Shift-X, whatever. No one knows that. You can click up here on Start Simulation. This will open for another tool called PLC-Sim. There's two different versions of PLC-Sim. There's one version for 1500 and 1200s, and there's one version for 300, 400, and 200s. I will make a video for the 300, 400, 200 version at a later point. For now, we're concentrating on the 1500 and the 1200, which will in the simulation behave the same. This tool you have to download separately. It's not in the standard package of TIA Portal. You have to download separately. I will put the download link in the description below. You don't need a special license key for it. Your standard TIA Portal license key will be enough. I'll put that link down in the description. You have to scroll down until you find something called Trial Software Step 7 PLC Sim. Download all of these, install them. Of course, you have to be logged in, but I explained that in the video earlier. So go and check that. And this is PLC Sim that we are going to work with. So download, install, and after installation, you can select the brain and click on Start Simulation. Starting the simulation will disable all other interfaces, meaning you can't connect to a real physical PLC and the simulation at the same time. Yeah, I know that. I don't want that to show again. So we can only simulate the PLC. I hit OK. And now you see this little tool that will open. This is the simulated PLC. And also in the back, my download window starts, but we'll get to that in a second. It could be that you have a pop-up message right now saying something like, hey, simulation is turned off for your PLC. So you have to turn it on. There's an OK button and you turn it on. It's just that it tells you you are turning on simulation for this PLC, which could be unsafe in some cases. But for now, for beginners level, it's totally fine to turn it on. So hitting OK on the pop-up that's there. And this simulation here will open. And also in the background here, this is my download window. This is my compilation window. So load preview. Right now, everything seems to be fine. The software was compiled without any errors, right? Without any errors. And I want to download. So I can click on load. When clicking on load, my program is now downloaded into this simulation here. What do I want to do? I could now here select start modules. Let's keep it on no action. I can click finish. And now this is my PLC with my program. Here I can, like with the real physical PLC, click on run with a little dip switch on the physical PLC or on the display, depending on the version. Run, and now my PLC is in run. What we can do next, let me save for a moment here. What we can do next is we can go online on the PLC. Let's click on go online. And you can see on the left side here, everything is green, meaning everything is downloaded into the PLC, and in the PLC, this one here has the same status as our project here that we have written. That's good. Next thing I want to do is click on those glasses here, which are called monitoring, to see what's going on inside the PLC storage right now. That's good. We can see two different color schemes. We can see blue dashed. Blue dashed means logic 0, not active, right? Not active. And we can see green. Yeah, green not dash, just green solid line, which is logic 1. So we can see the left side here is always logic 1. This is where we get the logic 1 from. Then here it goes on, and it stops at B1, because B1 is right now not activated. Different scenario here. The line is on. We're going to B3. B3 in our case right now is also not activated. But since we have a normally closed contact, if this is a 0, the normally closed contact will let a current flow through or logic flow through. So meaning this is okay. This is not exactly how the sensor behaves here. Usually we have, if there's no workpiece, the sensor reads a 1. So we need to invert that somehow in our simulation. We'll get to that in a second. Good. So this is what we have right now. Right? Now I want to turn on and off all the bits. Therefore, there's some ways, and the best way, since this not the best way, the way we're doing it right now, because I want to introduce the simulation software here, is clicking on this little field, which is the expanded mode. Yeah, there should be a pop-up also. This is the expanded mode, meaning we're opening the simulation even more. This takes a little moment, and it will open the window, the simulation in a bigger window. So this is the full view. We started with the compact view, and this is the full view or the expanded view. In here, we want to create a new project. New project means a new simulation. I'll also call mine simulation YouTube. QTube. That's new. I can't type. I'm sorry. I can click create, and now it's creating the project for me. And before it was just a simulated PLC, but this creation lets us do more configuration onto it. So we'll see that in a moment. It might take a moment or two, depending on the hardware you have. My PC is actually pretty fast, so that's already pretty slow for my PC. And you can see loading configuration from device. This is right now also simulating the hardware now, the hardware configuration, which wasn't happening in the compact view. So I can now go here, brain, this is my PLC. I can check the device configuration. I can see, okay, this is simulated right now. And I can see also the IOs here on the right side. If I zoom into 200% at least, I can also see them here. And here I can activate or deactivate them. Right? Just clicking on them, activating them. But therefore we have a better method, which is called the sim tables, simulation tables. So if I open a simulation table here, you will see it's empty. I could now manually type in everything that I have in my project, for example B1, I can add B1, right, and so on and so on. Better method is here on top, load project tags. This will load all the tags that we're using in our project so far, which is in this case here pretty convenient because we've used those 6. If I click on it again, you will see it's loading all of them again. It's not synchronizing them, it's always reloading all of them. So let's get rid of all of them for now and just load it once. So those are mine. Those are my variables I'm using, my symbols I'm using in my PLC program. Let's make this a little bit smaller so we can actually see. That's the minimum. That's interesting. So that's the minimum, as we can see. And now I can check. To turn on K1 here, what do we need to do? First thing, B3, right? B3 is the first thing. B3 is actually always sending a high signal if there's no component, so I will activate it. You can see in the background, here, the green path turns off, because now we have a 1 here. 1 here means this will open, not letting any path through, electrically open. So, next thing that I want to do is, I want to place a component. Placing a component here. So now the sensor is not detecting any component anymore. I want to place the component here, B1. B1 is a normally open sensor, so a normally open contact. So if there is a part, boop, it will close, right? So you can see this on the top left at B1, right here. I can open and close it, right? Doop, doop, doop. Now it's active, letting it flow through. Last thing that needs to happen is here I need to click on S1. So let's click on S1. Click. And we can see K1 activated, right? K1 activated. This is green, indicating K1 is active. And I can also see this here in my simulation. K1 is now active. Next thing that will happen is this will go further. B1 will not be active anymore. So let's see what happens if we click on B1. B1 is not active anymore. The set input is not active anymore, but K1, the motor, the conveyor belt, is on because we have set it. Means it stays on. So good, perfect. That's just what I wanted. I can also release the start button here. So what's the next thing that happens here? B2 detects a component. So let's go to the network where we have B2, which is this one here. I hope it fits on one screen. Yeah, that's fine. So B2 gets active. This is B2. And then also 1 and 1, meaning the stopper should open. So pay attention to here. I'm activating B2. And automatically it activated the stopper, right? There's a direct assignment. If B2 is active, the stopper is active. There we go. That's it. So I activate. that was a lot of information there. If I activate B2, boop, you can see 1 and 1 activates, 1 and 1 activates, boop. K1 here is on all the time already, so this is on until we reach the end here. If I reach the end, B3 will be active. Oh, by the way, we left B2, right? B2 not active anymore. Stopper closes. Then we reach B3, right? B3 and boop. You can also see the conveyor here turned off and the conveyor here also turned off because we have the reset input. Perfect. This is just what we needed, right? This is how we simulate. I will also show you quickly how we can do it even one step further. This is the basic simulation. That's all you need. You basically activate your inputs, outputs with buttons, right? That's it. Your inputs and your outputs will be activated through your program, of course. So let's bring it to the standard again, B3. Basically taking this piece out here, right? We have another method here in PLC-Sim. We have another method. So this is a little bit more advanced. You might not need it. On the left side here, we still have sequences, right? We have here sequences as well. Let's use the one sequence that we already have. Sequences consist of 2 parts. The first is here an action that happens. We can either start immediately with all the sequence, or we can have a trigger condition. For me, for the simulation, the trigger condition will be that K1 is on, which will be controlled with the PLC, right? K1 will be controlled through the PLC. So the first action that happens is that K1 is true, right? As soon as K1 is true, here on top we can just change the time settings. I want it in seconds, and I want one action to be performed in every 5 seconds. What happens then? If K1 is true, what's the first thing that's going to happen? It moves. B1 will deactivate, right? So I will now choose B1. Oops. Oh, my bad. Sorry. I did the 5 seconds too late. The B1 will turn false, right? That's good. What will happen next? So this moves, right? This moves. B2 will activate. B2 will not go to false. It will go to true. It will activate. Good. Next thing. B2 will deactivate. So again, B2 will deactivate, go to false. What's the next? B3, the sensor will be triggered, but it's now sending a 0 signal, so it will also deactivate. So B3 will deactivate. That's it. This is our sequence. This is what's going to happen. Not much, right? And we want this to repeat all the time. And it's going to repeat again if K1 turns true again. I can now start the sequence here by pressing start sequence. And it's going to start. But it's going to wait for the trigger here. It's going to wait for K1 to turn true. So I put a part now here, right? Meaning B1 activates and then S1. Now it's going to be a little bit faster. So you got to pay close attention to all of this. First thing that's going to happen, B1 will activate and S1. So I will now activate in my simulation table here. Let's hover it. So this is now floating around here. What's going to happen is B1, which is the first sensor, right? I put a part. Now a part is on the conveyor. What I need to do is press S1. I'll press S1. Right? I will press it in a moment. Then the conveyor will turn on. 5 seconds, right? B2 will activate. B2 will activate because it's here in our sequence in the second place. Then a couple of seconds later, B2 will deactivate because the component moves on. And even a couple more seconds later, B3 will send a logic 1 signal because there's a piece. And then B3 won't send 1 anymore, which I don't have in here, which I will add now because someone takes off the piece again. I can also type a 1. A 1 is the same as a true. So all of this will take a second here, right? This will be complicated to understand, so I will do it twice. So I press S1 now. Try keeping the eyes on what's happening in the program. So I press S1. I release S1. K1 is active. K1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B2 will activate. Oh, B1 deactivates first. The piece moved. Right? B2 activates afterwards, opening the stopper. The conveyor is still on. 3, 4, 5. B2 deactivates. 2, 3, 4, 5. B3 will activate, turning off the conveyor. Right? This all happens through our sequence here. Those are the single steps. Those are the single steps. Right? And we can have a look. Ooh, this is just way too much on one screen. Right? I will just do it here together. Right? So let's place a part here, meaning B1 activates. Bop, here. Next thing that happens, I press S1 and I release S1. Conveyor's on, right? 1, dub. Now B1 will deactivate, and now B2 will activating the stopper here, right? Yeah, I can't, I'm not too fast enough. Oop. B2 is deactivated, stopper closes, still moves. B3 is reached, right? B3 is reached, now I'm taking it out, and we are in our status again. This automatically happens, all the simulation here that I did with the PowerPoint happens in the sequence here. Pretty nice if you ask me. Very convenient to use. If you have used it once or twice, you will get a hang of it. Good. So that's been 20 minutes. Short introduction to simulations, to this simulation tool PLC-Sim, that's what it's called, PLC-Sim for 1200s and 1500s. For 300s it looks a little bit different. I'll make another video on that. For now, that will be enough. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below. If you want to see more, leave a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.